to sight. Spain Park High School homecoming night, Bob Finley Field, Jaguar Stadium. Landry Roberts along with A.A. Moore getting you ready for Spain Park and Pelham. Well, A.A., first of all, it's been a minute. How are you?
I don't know. You felt like a bit of a stranger when I came up here. I was like, man, we just haven't been able to get the calendars together. But it's good to be back in the saddle with them. Quite the professional that you are, Landrum, and ready to rock and roll here for another big Spain Park night.
Yeah, Spain Park rolling off of a win last week, 28-7. Game was never in doubt versus a non-region opponent in James Clemens. Tonight, the Jags facing a familiar foe, but a team that has a much different identity under first-year coach Ross Newton. I'm talking about the Pelham Panthers.
All right, and it took Pelham a little while to get it together. They lost its first two ball games, but man, they've been on a roll recently, and they've been getting it done a lot of different ways. They can run the football. The Panthers can throw it. They've been playing great defense. Their last ball game was a shutout. 35-0 was the win 2 weeks ago. They're coming off of a bye. So this is not a team that you can take lightly. They certainly have some confidence and momentum coming in, and now only that, they sit atop the region, and so if Spain Park has any designs on winning this region race, they're going to have to get a W here tonight.
Yeah, and Tim Kakis knows exactly what he's going to get from the Pelham Panthers tonight under Ross Newton. Why? Because not only Coach Kakis, but myself included, grew up with Ross Newton, the Newton family there at Homewood. All of us playing there for the Homewood Patriots, and you could say truly lifelong friends, these two head coaches. But for Ross Newton to come in back to the high school ranks, he's only coached collegiately and then as an assistant when he came back from UCF under Gus Malzahn. But he knows football, playing it at the collegiate level, coaching it. What you're going to get with a Ross Newton coach football team, AA, you're going to get physicality, you're going to get aggressiveness, a team that absolutely, their motor never stops running. And I can tell you, the team wearing the white tonight, they believe that they're going to win this game.
Well, that's why when you look across the sideline, it's going to be a bit of a mirror image, because that's exactly the way Spain Park likes to play football. And it's no doubt if these guys grew up lifelong friends, learned at the feet of football men. Football has been these guys' life, and they are certainly pouring that into all the student athletes on both sidelines. So I expect this to be a relatively close game, especially early on. It's going to be a team that doesn't make the mistakes. Spain Park, when they don't turn that football over, man, it's a heck of a football team. But this is a team that really needs to kind of start showing its identity. We knew what this team was last year. This year, with new players in and stuff, you know, it's been a little different. But now we've played half of the schedule. It's time to get it in gear and show what this Spain Park team here is in 2025.
Well, Spain Park, after the win over Helena, you had the heartbreaking one-point loss in Alex City to Benjamin Russell. A lot of the meat, if you would have looked at projected standings coming into the season, they're playing the very heavy front-loaded region schedule, whereas Pelham comes in, they're 3-0 in region play, 3-2 overall. Pell City, a close loss to open up the season, then a heartbreaking loss to Oak Mountain, where Oak Mountain heaped one up at the buzzer and won that game by one. But a 19-7 win over Chelsea, 37-34 over Calera, and then 2 weeks ago, 35-0 over Chilton County.
And you hope that Spain Park can use the momentum that it got from that win last week, you know, to kind of spill into this ball game against a team that, again, had the week off. And certainly they were looking forward and had a couple of weeks to prepare, but it's a little different when you don't get out there and get to hit somebody else. Maybe Spain Park can take advantage of that early.
Garrett Hoffman, number 49 right there in the center of your picture, wearing the Columbia Blue jerseys, headgear, white breeches. We're underway. Fielded at the 10 by Pelham. Racing up, following a block, and then finally pushed out of bounds at the 34. Return man for the Pelham Panthers, one of their wide receivers we're going to see on the offensive side of the ball tonight in Jacob Gibbs.
And again, this offense is diverse. They're able to throw it through for nearly 175 yards a couple of weeks ago. They're able to get more than 100 yards on the ground in that same ball game. So, you know, it's kind of a pick your poison, but you have to be disciplined if you're Spain Park on the defensive side.
Get to the Jags starting defense in a moment. Dylan Smith, who we saw last year, the quarterback, junior quarterback, handing it off around the left side, and pads already popping on the first offensive play from scrimmage. 3, maybe 4 yards on the carry. Toting it, another senior for Pelham you're going to see tonight, coming in tonight with 500 yards on the season already, and that's Tristan Hunter Rutledge.
Again, that line got out there, and Rutledge was just able to follow those big guys around the end. Good pickup on first down for the Panthers.
Very generous spot. I'll give him 5 yards, a second down and 5. As Dylan Smith, couldn't tell if that was confusion, nobody there. But in any event, Smith's still able to pick up positive yardage and bring up a 3rd and short 1.
And I tell you, Nathan Bird has been very good on that defensive front for Spain Park here. And when you see him making plays and getting involved in getting the run stops, you'll really be able to see him opening up on passing downs.
We're going to go back to the ground with the Panthers, and I don't think he got it. He didn't. He dropped right at the line of scrimmage. Is Hunter Rutledge. And good job by the interior of the defensive line as we take another look.
And watch TK Slaughter come around the end. He seals, make sure he's not going to be able to get into that hole, and Slaughter gets the stop, and it's going to bring the punt team out for the Panthers. Watch again, Slaughter coming around and making that stop before the ball could get into the hole and pick up the first down.
Nathan Bird, Zion McLean, Brady Heath, Wyatt Beatty, EJ Curley, TK Slaughter, JD Onami, Jalen Mosley, Tristan Hill, Carter Holloway, and Joe Cross. Short punt. Everybody from Spain Park backs away. Jags will have pretty good field position on their first offensive possessions. They're led by their senior quarterback, that guy, number 5, Brock Bradley.
And Bradley, again, having a stellar season. The record is not as pristine as it was last year, but you watch him make some of the throws, and more than anything, watching him be a leader out there. Since the time he stepped onto the field, he's never really looked frazzled at all, and even when this team is falling behind, he's been able to bring them back. But one thing Brock Bradley's been good at is getting his team off to good starts, and Spain Park would love to get into the end zone early here.
They shift around and go empty as McClure moves to the slot. 2 wide receivers to each side as Bradley on first down. And how about Kenariga going down the sure hands like Velcro. Pretty impressive play on the run.
And the one thing that you've seen from Bradley here as he gets rid of the football quickly is that from the beginning of the season to now is getting more in tune with his offensive line, trusting it, not being skittish in the pocket. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with the ball there, and he delivered it for a good pickup for Spain Park.
Out this way to Mason McClure. Makes one guy miss. Mason still on his feet. Across the 50 and into the 47, extra effort. It's a first down for the Jags. That's certainly what Tim Bakakis wanted to see early. Getting to the offensive starting lineups for the Jags as you take another look. That offensive line, they've been doing yeoman's work.
I tell you, Mason McClure has been very shifty all over the field for Spain Park. That picks up an Atlas Senior Living first down, and this team, when Mason McClure is getting the football, it's normally a lot of good things.
Well, Mason McClure gets it there, handoff in the backfield, and McClure fighting his way across the 40. A flag comes in late, and they're going to tack 15 on, I believe. We'll wait for the official call. Up front for the Jags tonight on the offensive line while we have time, Hudson Reed, Isaac Harris, Jackson Bryant, Sammy Camargo, Reed Oatridge. And the tight end is Connor Grepp. Ken Arrigo, Barrett Price, Mason McClure are the wide receivers. And Brock Bradley, your quarterback.
A little late face mask there, puts 15 more yards on it. I tell you what, Mason McClure is really starting to make more of a name for himself. Picked up some offers this week, and teams are really starting to see and understand the different dynamic he brings to a football game. Not the biggest guy out there, but certainly athletic, and probably the most athletic guy you're going to see out on the field tonight. And so when, again, get the ball into his hand, and we'll see a lot more of those Atlas Senior Living first downs for Spain Park.
Mason McClure, 5'9", 185-pound junior, as Hudson Hibbert had a nice night last week in the win over James Clemens. Checks into the backfield wearing number 16. First down after the penalty yardage is added. Brock looking towards the air. Barrett Price, the receiver. Barrett trying to get away from the Panthers defensive back. And finally Pelham gets some help, and Barrett's forced out of bounds. Plays good for 10-plus yards and another Jag first down.
Hollis Davis holding on for dear life for Pelham. Again, another Atlas Senior Living first down, but that could have been a lot more if Mr. Davis was not able to keep a hold of that ankle of Bear Price.
Now Mason McClure back at running back. Now the pitch they like to go to, wide side of the field. Mason stood up at the 10. As you see, Uriah Barganier trying to strip it away. Mason holds on to the football. Bring up second down as we approach the 8-minute mark here in this first quarter.
Boy, Reed certainly gets out there, and he was clearing the lane for Mason McClure to run through. Good job there up front for Spain Park.
McClure off the left side, got a block. Untouched as he crosses the goal line. It's a touchdown from 9 yards out. Impressive first drive, 63-yard drive from Rock Bradley and the Spain Park Jaguars with an early 6-0 lead.
Boy, nothing like getting positive yards on each play. Watch Harris come out here, number 58. Boom, clears the lane right through for Mason McClure, and that's 6 points. A little post touchdown dance, and Spain Park's on the board.
Kick is up, and it is good. 7-0. Good guys on top. 7:41 left to play in the first quarter. Landrum Roberts, A.A. Moore. Spain Park with an early 7-0 lead. Garrett Hoffman kicks off the second time tonight. The Pelham Panthers fielded inside the 15 and forced out of bounds at the 23. And once again on the return for Pelham, Jacob Gibbs limited that time. This is the second time we will see the Panthers on offense tonight.
Oh, good air up under that kick, allowed the coverage team to get down, and good defensive set for Spain Park on Pelham's first offensive possession, and able to get down and score on that Andrews Sports Medicine touchdown by Mason McClure. Let's see if the defense can kind of keep it up here. 7 points, I imagine, is not going to be enough to win this football game.
Marcus Arnold, number 2, one of the favorite targets. Dylan Smith, the quarterback. But back to the ground game. That's what Pelham's been going to early. And going wide is not a good idea if Joe Cross is in the area. And number 19 was that time. And what looked like could be a promising game ended up being nothing.
Well, that's just a good read there by Cross. You saw him get a couple of picks last week. This time he's helping in the run game. Able to get inside, watch him. He sees it, comes in from his safety spot, and able to get the tackle. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, though. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
And Dylan Smith swallowed up. He is lost in a sea of Columbia blue. Who got him first? Looked like it could have been J.D. Bonamy, linebacker number 11. As you see him there. JD, and then he had some really good push there in the interior.
Not much room there for Dylan Smith. If he wanted to throw it, it wasn't going to be time to do it. If he wanted to run it, there was nowhere to go. That defensive front just caved in that offensive line from Pelham.
Ball at their own 20-yard line, 3rd and 14, what Ross Newton, Pelham head coach, was certainly wanting to avoid. And Smith changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Jags dropping 8 guys as they rush 3. And Dylan Smith, way too much on that pass. And bring up 4th down, another punt for the Panthers.
And you mentioned it at the top, Landrum, that the schedule, at least as far as it is broken early for Pelham, you get 3 wins, but you really were kind of working towards the bottom of the standings. Now you're taking a step up in class here, and Spain Park showing early that this defense is coming to impress. And another tough punt there with a good roll for Pelham.
The Pelham punter playing the bump and run tonight, but it's been effective. No return. And with 5:57 left, you see Brock Bradley in the offense again.
And this first quarter is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, which provides residential service and repair to the local Birmingham community. Hiller is the homeowner's premier home services provider of choice with their unbeatable Happy You'll Be, or the service is free, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call the happy people, the Happy Face truck today. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
One-stop shop. And Brock Bradley checking on the line of scrimmage. Hudson Hibbard is the running back, and Big 16 gets it. Hudson bounced it out and fell ahead for a couple of yards. Pelham was right there. Give Hudson credit, and that's what we've seen in the first half of the season when he's been able to get touches at running back. He's going to have that body lean, and he runs hard.
Yeah, he certainly isn't scared of contact, as he took the first hit and was able to get another extra yard or so.
2nd and 8, Bradley out wide. Pass caught, it'll be good for a first down. And that's Connor Greb, the tight end.
He's been a lot more involved in the offense here in the last couple of weeks, and when you have a target that big, well, you got to go see him. Connor Greb catches it in between a couple of guys. That's good for another Atlas Senior Living first down.
Hudson Hibbard checks out. New wide receiver checks in, wearing number 12. It's Brody Smith. Now McClure stands behind Brock. And come out this way. That's Ken Arrigo. And Arrigo secured the football. The problem is he had a defender right in his face as he turned around. Good defensive play.
Probably had a little more air up under that pass than you wanted to. You kind of want to zip that one out there and let Rigo get out there and do his thing. But again, just with a little air up under it, the defender was able to get out there, and I think that was Mr. Cameron May, I think, was out there.
Cameron May, 20 tackles coming into tonight. Senior defensive back, senior laden Pelham. First 22. Spain Park making it a manageable third down after Hibbard comes back in the game, does exactly what he's asked to do.
And that offensive line is getting out there on the pull and not making it very hard for the running backs, whether it's been McClure or whether it's been Hibbard. And they've had a lot of easy looks to be able to kind of pick the lane to run in.
3rd down and 3. Jags need the 38 of Pelham. And Hudson, as Pelham diagnosed it perfectly. Uriah Barganier, big number 97 in the middle. He was back there quickly. Creates a lot of problems with that size, and he did it there. There was nowhere to go for Hudson. Play fails the game. 4th down and 3. We'll do it again.
And it was an inside run rush, and he got right inside, and it wasn't much that Hibbert could do. By the time he got the football and took a step, he had his ankle grabbed and was brought down.
You got to do your scouting. And I'm sure Ross Newton preached that to his team. But in the moment, you got a lot of different things racing through your mind on game night AA. And if you're number 29 wearing the white jersey, you know what? Join the club. How many other guys can we say have done that over the past 2 seasons?
That's Braden Patterson, and as you just said, you are not alone, my friend. My guess is there'll be another teammate or two of yours who's going to run into the same fate a little later in this ball game.
We certainly hope so. Hudson Hibbard ahead for a couple. Bring up 2nd down and 8. Close to 2.5 minutes left in this opening quarter here on homecoming night. Temperatures continuing to drop and feeling more like fall as we should approach low 70s on the conclusion of this one. Well, Hudson Hibbard was able to get 2 yards, and then he was pushed back. Forward progress. They'll mark him at the 32. So another 3rd down for the Jags. We'll see if they can convert this one.
Benjamin Osberger got in there and drove that shoulder pad right into Hibbard's midsection. Had a little something to say after he made the tackle. It was a good play. You can be a little excited about that.
He's another senior on that Pelham defense. 31 tackles entering tonight. Add another to his total. Everybody stacked up close defensively for the Panthers. Third down, Brock gonna fire, got a man, touchdown. 32 yards, Brock Bradley to the junior wide receiver, Mason McClure. By land and by air. 2 touchdowns for Mason. It's 13-0 Jags.
Man, I tell you, McClure is having himself a night, and it's happening in the first quarter. This time, I don't know how and I don't know why, but McClure was wide open. Bradley got the protection right up the seam, and it was an easy touchdown there. As you look at it here again, Bradley right on the money to Mason McClure for that Andrew Sports Medicine touchdown.
Mason McClure, a 9-yard touchdown to get things started, then a 32-yard. All you got to do is secure it, and that's what he did. 14-0, a minute 30 remaining here in the opening quarter. Spain Park football continues in a moment. Kickoff by Hoffman, fielded by Gibbs again. Gibbs fighting his way out to the 35. Dylan Smith and the Pelham offense haven't had a whole lot of success up to this point. We'll try it again for a third time tonight.
Right now in this first quarter, Spain Park has been dominating up front. Not a lot of room to run the football, not a lot of lanes. It even seemed like there's been a little confusion. You know, are we going to, on the read options, and maybe Dylan Smith not seeing what he wants to see, and just has not been much on the positive side when it comes to this Panthers offense.
Got an injured Jag that the training staff taking a look at, and I believe if my eyes did not see me, that would be Carter Holloway, number 4, senior safety. He's up, but having to be assisted by the training staff to come off the field. So, not good news for head coach Tim McCackis in his 4th season. Of course, the 12-1 season a year ago, winners of the region. A dominating, lopsided performance against Pelham on the road last season, but there's probably a reason why Ross Newton took over and got hired as their new head coach.
Yeah, as a program, you start taking too many of those kind of L's, and there's going to be somebody else in there doing their best job to try to keep that from happening. And thus far this year, Pelham has responded.
And Pelham's a proud program. First down and 10. Dylan Smith. He's going for the one-on-one matchup, and it's intercepted. Intercepted. Nope. Well,
what's the call there?
That was a dramatic pause by the official. As we take another look, it's going to be tough to see from this angle. We will try to. The official had the best view.
Jalen Mosley is the DB who's back there. Man, it looked like he was in. Joe Cross pointed right to it, said, hey, he's got a foot in.
Joe Cross would know. He's a guy who's got several interceptions in his bio. And Dylan Smith on the keeper. 6 yards for the junior quarterback. Bring up third down. And 4 for Pelham. As we're under 1 minute remaining here in the first quarter.
It was a good read there by Smith. Bird was coming crashing down, and Smith said, I better hold on to this one and try to do the best I can with it. E.J. Curley making the stop.
We'll see what Ross Newton, Pelham Panthers dial up on third down and 4 from their own 41. Smith, keeper, first down. And it was finally J.D. Bonamy who brought him down, shot at the 49-yard line. Dylan Smith using the wheels. Second leading rusher on the team coming in for the Panthers through 5 games this season.
And they needed that first down, the Panthers did, because it had been nothing but tough sledding here in the opening quarter. We'll see if they try to run another play here, if they're going to let the clock run out. But need a little positivity for Pelham, and that first down pickup, that run there by Dylan Smith, gives them a little something to hang their hat on as the first quarter closes.
Start of the second quarter, first down for Pelham, and that's the way you want to get it started defensively for Spain Park. Hand off going to Gibbs, but nothing there, and a couple of Jags closing quickly.
As you can see, there are different guys who have different responsibilities on that particular play. It was Slaughter who had Dylan Smith. Nathan Bird had the tailback, and he's the one who got the tackle for loss.
Second down and 11. 3 wide receivers for the Pelham Panthers. From our right to our left, if you're just joining us, 14-0. Mason McClure, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Pelham looking for the touchdown of their own and wide open. And inside the 25 and down to the 23 is Arnold, their leading receiver. Coming into tonight, Arnold, 26 catches, 528 yards, 6 touchdowns, averages 20 yards per catch, and after that, I believe it. Now Dylan Smith using his block, offensive lineman, as a shield. And Smith is able to pick up 9 yards.
We talked about this off the air. It's like 14-0. This is not an unfamiliar score for Spain Park this year, but when you get to that number, it's like that's when the other teams decide, hey, it's time to get it moving, and Spain Park has not been able to have the answer for that this year.
Foot on gas. Smith going to change his plays. Play clock winding down. It's at 5. He's going to have to hurry. 4, 3. Now he's set and get the play off. Going to the end zone, the fade. And Arnold interfered with. 2 officials throwing flags. Maybe a little too much hands, and now some jawing going on. It's in coverage. Was Jalen Mosley.
I think even more important than the hands is that Mosley never looked up for the football. He was really just jockeying with Marcus Arnold out there on the outside, and when you do it right in front of a couple of officials, that was almost too easy to see.
Bird checks out. Houston Holmes, number 17, checks in as one of the Spain Park defensive backs. First and goal from the 7. Dylan Smith's going to keep it. And Smith gets some help from his offensive line and his teammates trying to push him ahead. Not a whole lot of help, but he manages to get to the 5-yard line. So pickup is good for 2. Second and goal.
Well, the thing that you want to look at for Pelham is watch the snap. The snap wasn't very good, and Smith had a little trouble handling it. When you get those bad snaps for plays like that that have timing, that certainly causes some issues with execution.
Some late shifting by offense and the defensive lines, and Bonamy. What a fine job by J.D. Bonamy to step up, but he also had help from his teammate, Evan Taylor, number 16, the junior linebacker.
And I'm glad Taylor got there because that was almost a touchdown run by Smith. Watch him try to come in the hole, but Taylor gets him. Bonamy is right there, shuts that down.
Third and goal from the 5. Gibbs goes in motion. Smith pressured. Just heaves it up in the air, and wow. Everything that Spain Park had asked for except for the result. Desperation heave. Could have been intercepted. Instead, swiped out of the air by Gibbs, and it's a touchdown for Pelham.
I think at the end there, Spain Park was not aggressive going to get the football, and Gibbs was. Watch the ball go in the air, and then they just we're going to go get it. And Gibbs was like, no, I'm going to go get it. And he went and took that touchdown instead of letting the interception fall into the hands of Spain Park.
The extra point is good. Ross Newton Some good, clean living. 14-7. Jags on top. Back to Hoover in a moment. Landry Roberts, A.A. Moore. It was a third down and goal from the 5. Looked like Spain Park at least had a stop, potentially an interception, but instead it was a touchdown as Jacob Gibbs was able to almost come out of nowhere, go up, high point the football. And Freddie Lopez Diaz, extra point. That's where we stand. Kickoff. And that was ugly. McClure inadvertently going to field it, put the knee down. So the momentum has shifted to the opposite side of the field. Tim Vakakis talking to Brock Bradley in the offense. So far, knock on wood, offense has been efficient.
Well, you know, on that last drive, it could have been short-circuited right on the first play. A play that looked like Jalen Mosley had an interception, but they called it incomplete out of bounds, and Pelham was able to get some momentum. Now let's see if this offense can answer and kind of shut that down.
From their own 9-yard line, Jags going to the ground and nothing there. Hudson Hibbard. His number called that time. He's dropped right at the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10.
The question is, are we going to be able to continue to see our playmakers make plays? And we saw on the first 2 drives, even as the second drive was a little more methodical, when Brock Bradley and this offense wanted to get it going, they just went downtown and got it. Let's see if the Jags can continue to do that here as we start the second quarter.
Rigo and Greb lined up at wide receiver this side. Mason McClure the other side. They're going to go back to the ground, and actually a worse result. That play lost a yard. First down went for no yards. Hudson Hibbard stacked up and dropped for a loss. 3rd down and 11, under 8 minutes remaining here in this opening quarter.
Yeah,
Second quarter.
I think Pelham was a little shell-shocked. You know, you come out, you give it up, 3 and out, and then Spain Park comes right down and scores and does it again. But now they've gotten the end zone. Now they're into this ball game, and the defense starting to respond for the guys in green and black.
See if Brock Bradley can connect with Ken Arrigo. But before that happens, Pelham wants to talk about it. Ross Newton and the Panthers calling a timeout. 7:40 left. 3rd and 11 for Spain Park when we come back. Now, Jags facing 3rd down and 11 from their own 8-yard line. Trying to move the chains. Pelham trying to get their first stop. There goes Brock emerging from nowhere, and Brock manages to get some of those yards back, but not near enough. Shy of the 15-yard line. So the Spain Park Jags will be forced to punt.
Brock had to step up because the blitz came late. Watch it come. And he saw it, and he said, hey, I got to take off. Otherwise, it might be a safety here. A little self-preservation for the Spain Park offense with that run by Brock Bradley.
You're right. Delayed blitz coming from the Pelham secondary. And just for Brock to be able to see it out of his periphery, pretty impressive. Now the Panthers with a chance to return it to the 35, lifted up and promptly dropped on the ground, the Pelham return man. But Panthers, great field position. 6 minutes, 47 seconds remaining here in the opening half, and trying to tie this score.
It's been a tough second quarter for Spain Park, but our big second quarter sponsor is United Community Bank, a proud sponsor of Spain Park football. We please ask that you visit their new Meadowbrook location on Highway 280. Thank you to United Community Bank.
Dylan Smith, Panthers last drive with a 5-yard touchdown to his teammate Jacob Gibbs. Back to the air, and that was just dropped. Mosley might have knocked it away, but Marcus Arnold, Panthers leading wide receiver, maybe he felt the footsteps.
I would go more with B than A, but A was certainly in play. Good positioning there.
I was leaving options out there.
And good play there by Mosley. Mosley was ready to lay the hammer down. Arnold, again, we just talked about a little self-preservation. That may have been what happened on that play.
Coverage has to get a little tighter. They're going to have to get some pressure on Dylan Smith. Let him camp out all day. That time, Pelham back to the run. Joe Cross with the tackle. And the ball carrier Gibbs out at the 26. Third down.
We talk a lot about Joe Cross and his ability to get his hands on passes, get interceptions, playing well in the secondary. Well, that includes being strong on run support. And we've seen a couple times Joe Cross right in the mix, bringing down runners and doing a good job in supporting the Spain Park defense from the secondary.
And Spain Park with the shift might have caused the offensive line to move. Yep, 5 yards stepped off. So instead of 3rd down and 2, Panthers facing 3rd down and 7.
You know, normally Spain Park runs that particular action on the offensive side of the ball, trying to get someone to jump. Jags show that, hey, this can work defensively as well. And they get 5 of those yards back because of the penalty.
Great crowd on hand. Some Alabama high school Hall of Fame coaches taking this one in, retired coaches. The end zone to our left. Pass complete to Gibbs. Pretty good tackle, though. Wow. Mosley saved a 1st down. So instead of the lazy tackle, Mosley got him down quickly. What he's coached to do, 4th down and 1.
I tell you, when you talk about alignment assignment, that's right there. Mosley was supposed to play off of him, comes in, makes a textbook tackle. Watch him wrap him up on his midsection, brings him right down to the ground, and now it's going to be 4th and 1. I imagine it's going to be some sort of run here. And there's another jump by Pelham. It worked again.
So not only Spain Park adept at drawing people off, also on the defensive side with the late shifts, causing offensive linemen to get started early.
It's like Pelham wants to keep the offense on the field. They're going to spread it wide. Watch out for Dylan Smith taking off here.
Jags need a play on this 4th down. Pelham needs the 25 of Spain Park. Dylan Smith not going to get it. What a tackle by E.J. Curley. Open field, mano y mano, and number 7 wins it.
If that's the spy, well, you're going to be in real trouble. Curley stayed right at home. He had his eye completely on Dylan Smith, just in case Smith decided he wanted to take off running, and Curley was standing right there, and Dylan Smith was not going to win that battle.
It was almost like Curley didn't want to come into his line of sight before he committed where he was going to run. That was an ambush. So Brock Bradley, the offense, better starting field position from their own 30 this time with 4 minutes, 39 seconds to operate. And Bradley's going to throw, and behind Rigo. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened had the two connected on that pass, but Brock threw it behind his senior wide receiver teammate, Ken Rigo.
A little bit of a timing issue there because Rigo had gotten free right across the middle, and Bradley saw him. He just pulled the trigger a hair too late. You're a quarterback, man. I know you want those passes back because you just think about how much room Rigo had to run.
That one had some velo on it. But you're right. Brock probably kicking himself. Hibbert bounces out, and then he turns it back in. And what does Hudson do? Secures the football, lowers the shoulder. 7 yards the old-fashioned way.
On that last series of running was a little tougher, but this time offensive line does its job, gets its push, and Hubbard, you give him a chance to start getting downhill, someone's going to pay the price on the other side, and he lowered the boom to get those last couple of yards.
Line to gain is at 40. 4 minutes left in this opening half. Jags trying to tack on to a touchdown lead. Bradley, Mason McClure. 3rd down and 3. It's got to be precision. It was McClure this time coming across. He secured the football. Great timing and a great throw by the senior Brock Bradley.
He comes right into your living room or your computer screen and goes right across the middle. He's not the biggest target in the world, but man, he's got some sure hands, and that's going to be an Atlas Senior Living first down.
First set of downs from the 43, and pass is caught. One of the tight ends the Jags utilize, Landon Holman, junior, 6'1", 180 pounds. It's another first down.
Now this offense starting to get a little tempo to it. Back-to-back plays with Atlas Senior Living first downs. Now Spain Park's on the plus side of the field.
Landrick Hallman stays in. McClure, the lone wide receiver to this side. Brock had the pump, and once again he throws it behind Kenarigo. It was congested, but Rigo, once again, found the void in the Pelham defense. But Bradley unable to find him.
Well, it was a little bit of a recalibration there by Bradley. He kind of double pumped before he delivered the football, and Rigo had gotten open, maybe just a little unsure of what he was looking at there, and by the time he realized it was too late.
Bradley throws, got a man. Well, it's a lot easier when you give him a little bit of room to run. Kenarigo.
Bradley said, we're going to skip all this running across the middle. Just go right up the seam. Easy touchdown for Kenarigo. No one within 3-4 yards of him for an Andrews Sports Medicine touchdown.
Jones with the extra point out of the snap of Lutenbacher. 21-7, the answer score. One of the hardest in sports, 3:08 left. We're back to Spain Park High School in a moment. Beautiful night, comfortable night for football. Comfortable right now, more comfortable for Spain Park head coach Tim Vakakis. Rock Bradley, second touchdown pass of the night. The first to Kenarigo. And that's where we stand, Pelham. Offense comes back out on the field. 3:07 remaining here in the opening half.
Defense has been solid on the last series. Got a little help from a couple of false start penalties that turned short yardage situations into medium yardage situations, and Pelham was not able to answer the bell. Spain Park comes around the other way, goes 70 yards for a score, and now Pelham going to have to find a way to try to answer the Jags getting in the end zone.
Dylan Smith on first down finds Arnold, and Arnold ahead for 12 yards. He's forced out finally by Smith at the 41.
Well, these receivers are certainly getting open for Pelham right off the line, and there's no bumping. There's a little room to get to it, and Dylan Smith has been confident in throwing the football to his receivers. When you got that kind of opening, all you got to do is play a little pitch and catch, and that turns into another first down for the Panthers.
It was Tristan Hill, Spain Park defender, wearing number 12. Finally forced him out. Smith going to hang on and then almost suplexed. I guess that would have been back to belly, but Nathan Bird slams Dylan Smith down after he grabbed him right at the line, or maybe a little bit before the line. Second down and 9 coming up.
When you're a defensive lineman, you don't care if it's a design run. If you get your hand around the quarterback, you're trying to inflict as much pain as possible. And Nathan Bird slams Dylan Smith into the turf.
Smith looking to the far sideline. He's got two wide receivers on each side. Tristan Hunter Rutledge, his running back, joins him in the backfield. Good push by the Jags. Smith able to get away, and E.J. Curley holds off just enough, gets him with a harmless shoulder. Pretty good defense. We got third down, and Panthers will need 5.
Well, right now, Curley is, he's got a lot of responsibilities, but it's apparent that one of his biggest responsibilities is keeping an eye on Dylan Smith, because every time Dylan takes off running, it's E.J. Curley seemingly the guy who's there to greet him.
Jags would like to end this drive for Pelham right now. 1.5 minutes left. Dangerous pass, but it's caught. Gibbs again at the 45 of Spain Park. The clock will stop. The chains will move for a first down. You had a couple of guys that looked like they were in the throwing window. Somehow Gibbs another catch out of nowhere.
Well, Smith is certainly confident in throwing that football. He's got some good velocity on it, a little zip. He was able to slide it through two Spain Park defenders for Pelham first down.
Now Smith going to float it up in the air, and I don't know how Arnold came down with it. Was checking to see if Smith had crossed the line of scrimmage, but nice improvisation by the Pelham quarterback. And equally as impressive for Arnold to get the yards he did after the catch.
Well, I tell you what, most of the time you see that jump pass happen at the goal line. This time, the jump pass happened because Dylan Smith was about to get blasted. Just gets it up over the defender there, and it's a good first down for Pelham.
Great awareness by Smith, knowing exactly where the line was, and he didn't step over it. Zion McClain, though, he forces a fumble. It's a Spain Park turnover. The Jags got it. How about Zion McClain, number 92? Give him all the credit. He was stalking Dylan Smith from behind.
McClain was supposed to be chipped here, but it was not much of a chip. In fact, it was a miss. McClain comes around, knocks it free, turnover, and it's going to be Spain Park football.
James Jones recovering the Dylan Smith turnover. It'll be interesting. Spain Park, complement of timeouts with 55 and 4/10 seconds left. Ball on the 20-yard line, but it looks like, at least initially in the offensive set, maybe they're going to go conservative, but I can't see that with Tim Vakakis. Barrett Price pirouettes, spins around, gets his bearings, and quickly the Jags at the 44.
Said keep the clock rolling. They're going to stop it to reset the chains, but said that Price was tackled inbounds.
7 seconds elapsed on that play. Now everybody's set on first down. Brock back to the air. And he's going to win that foot race. Brock sprints across the 50, all the way out at the 45, wisely stepping out of bounds. The clock, stopping the clock with 39 seconds left. Let's take another look.
Well, two big gains here as Brock Bradley surveys the field, says, hey, I got a better chance to pick these yards up with my feet. And he steps out of bounds for an Atlas Senior Living first down.
11 yards on that pickup by Brock Bradley. And a timeout, I believe, called by Ross Newton. He was in the official across the way's ear. Let's take it with him. 39 seconds left. Spain Park hopefully not done for this first half. They lead 21-7. Welcome back after the timeout. 39 and 4/10 seconds left. Spain Park with the ball at the Pelham 45. First down and 10, trying to add to a 21-7 lead. Bradley across the middle. He's got his tight end, Connor Grebb. Connor fights his way out of bounds after securing the catch and the football. And Connor out at the 32. Another first down, AA.
Good awareness there by Connor Grebb. He saw there wasn't going to be much more up the field, so his next responsibility after protecting the football was to get out of bounds, and he does that and picks up an Atlas Senior Living first down.
Reed Harris, Bryant Camargo, and Oak Ridge up front doing a nice job of protecting Brock, giving him time to throw. Now he's going to be pushed out of the pocket. He was signaling, I believe, for Barrett Price to turn it up, but Pelham had two defenders in a wise decision by Brock Bradley.
Good vision there. They again brought another delayed blitz, but this time it was picked up. It allowed Bradley to kind of roll out of the pocket. While he loses a yard, he's able to protect the ball, doesn't have to burn a timeout.
Second down and 11, 24 seconds left. See there on your screen. Bradley going up to Barrett Price. He can high point the football as well. Barrett into the end zone, touchdown. Extra effort, third touchdown pass of the half for Brock Bradley. This one from 32 yards. And the Jags made it look easy. Textbook, 27-7.
Boy, tough job of tackling here by Pelham. Again, picked up the delayed blitz, and it's Barrett Price. He goes up and gets it. Probably should have been tackled. The only tackling was the Pelham players tackling each other. Watch here again. Bradley having time, delivers it on the money, and Price turns inside and gets into the end zone for an Andrews Sports Medicine touchdown.
Yeah, you had Micah Bland, Jeremiah Murphy, and maybe one other defender, but it was number 7, Barrett Price, making them pay. After the touchdown, Tim Bakakis, steady Eddie, his team leading 28-7.
You know, it started with the A.R. Holmes turnover as Spain Park was able to force the fumble, and the offense got up the field very quickly, 6 plays into the end zone for the Andrews Sports Medicine score. And Spain Park, for the most part, has been in complete control of this first half.
Jags with a 14-0 lead at the end of one quarter. And it was Pelham answering, cutting it 14-7. And the Jags adding 2 consecutive touchdowns, their largest lead of the night. And the Jags will receive it to begin the second half, but still 15 seconds left here. Once again, busy first half for Garrett Hoffman. Squibs that one. And Arnold found his way across the 30, hit hard by Joe Cross, and I believe Nathan Bird after he got up to the 34. That's why they'll mark him down. 9 seconds left in the second quarter.
I imagine Pelham is not going to do anything too risky, but if you're the Panthers, you got to be really worried because Spain Park is going to get the football coming out of the half. And you know, if you're Pelham, you probably just say, hey, let's just take this shot here and see if we can turn it into some goal. But as you can see, Spain Park's got 3 guys already at the 50-yard line and probably going to look to head back even further.
Zion McClain and Kenneth Madden, I believe James Jones lined up. They're going to rush 3, as you mentioned. I'm going to drop everybody else and say keep it in front of you, but a timeout before we do so. Well, the Jags trying to earn their second win in region play, as we mentioned off the top. Pelham 3-0. Next week, they've got the rivalry games. They take on Helena. A game that very well could decide a playoff spot in the region. 5 years since the Panthers have knocked off the Huskies. Now Dylan Smith, after the timeout, is going to line up and elect to regroup. 24 minutes gone by this homecoming night. Region play for Tim Bakakis and the Spain Park Jags, and so far so good. 28-7 our score. Halftime show comes your way next, along with homecoming festivities. You're watching Jag football here on the Spain Park Football Network. More Jags will get the football to begin the second half, leading 28-7. Special congratulations to Spain Park's homecoming queen for 2025, Miss Aaliyah Lane. A special night and memories for all of the homecoming court for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it's certainly a big deal when you're in high school, whether you win or just to get to be a part of the court, get to wear those very nice dresses, got the dance coming up. But the football game is a big part of that, and thus far, Spain Park, the Jaguars, have done their part in making this homecoming weekend very memorable.
Well, you just saw quarterback Brock Bradley. What a busy first half AA the senior signal caller had for Tim Bakakis as we take a look at some of the first half highlights in case you missed any of them. But it was Brock Bradley, and it was the Spain Park offense coming out quick. Mason McClure with the first touchdown of the night from 9 yards out.
Right, he was able to get around. The offensive line did very well protecting there for Brock Bradley as he throws a seed to Mason McClure for his second touchdown. Then here, as you can see, right up the seam, it's that's Mason McClure again. He just had a big first half. He was kind of everywhere.
Kind of the Swiss Army knife, and you get your playmakers the football. Then it was Ken Arrigo, they had trouble on the shortstop between he and Brock Bradley not getting connected, but there, the 30-yard touchdown pass. And then before the half, Spain Park limited time after getting the ball back. It was Connor Greb and plays like that, just wise, using the out of bounds, not having to burn the timeouts. And then Brock heaving it from 32 yards. Barrett Price at the 12, and then he does the rest after the catch. And it was Spain Park's defense. The play of the defense early on, Joe Cross said his name a lot in the first half. E.J. Curley, who came into your screen, and that defensive line with Nathan Bird and others.
Right, guys were playing alignment and assignment football, keeping their eyes on the particular players. That time the quarterback, Dylan Smith, is brought down. He tries to run away from E.J. Curley, unable to get that done. And this time the big sack and a slam down to the turf again by Nathan Bird. Before here, McLean gets the forced fumble, the A.R. Holmes turnover, and the defense gets the job done. And I tell you, Spain Park has, for the most part, been clicking on all cylinders here in the first half.
Yeah, James Jones came up with the only turnover that we had between the two teams in the first half. Now Brock Bradley giving a fist bump to his head coach, Tim Bakakis, leading 28-7. But now is not the time to relax, right?
You just got to keep putting your foot on the pedal. You know, we talk about when the Spain Park team this year has gotten up a couple of scores, sometimes you do see a little letdown. But as this season has rolled along, this team, which was a little inexperienced, at least playing amongst each other with new guys in new places, they are starting to gel. And you saw there in that second quarter, they were able to find the answer even after Pelham scored. And now you want to put this game out of reach. We want to see some backups on homecoming night.
We certainly do. And the identity of this football team, Spain Park and Tim Bakakis, still trying to figure that out. But you've seen the incremental rise of the Spain Park defense. You go back to the opening week, we were up in North Alabama at Sparkman. That was not the defense that we saw last year. This Spain Park defense, especially in the last few weeks, looking more like the Jag defense that I think Tim Bakakis was hoping for.
And I think these guys just needed to be comfortable. Some of these guys, even though they played some last year, they weren't the stars. They weren't the starters in some cases. And so now it's incumbent upon the new guys to come in and play their roles. And sometimes it takes a little while. And when you've got tough opponents like Hoover and Benjamin Russell on your schedule when you come out, it's a little hard to hide or try to figure it out without people putting eyes on you.
Pratham Devawala probably didn't get that right, but you know what? They didn't give him the phonetical guy. That one goes out of bounds, and Spain Park, after the penalty, will have good field position to start things here in the second half.
And my guess, you didn't get to spin the wheel and stuff to try to figure that out either. No dollar amounts for any of those consonants.
That's right. Oh, they will step it off on the field. Spain Park trying to pick up their second win in Region 3. Already having beat Helena here at Jag Stadium earlier this season. And a 1-point loss on the road at Ben Russell. But you got the likes of Chelsea, Calera, Chilton County. Still left on that schedule before finishing things up with Gardendale before the playoffs begin. First things first. So the offense, Brock Bradley and Hudson Hibbert come out firing, they do. Brock gonna go Mason McClure. It's just he and the official and Mason McClure drops a would-be touchdown. That would have been good from 65 yards to open up the play. Beautiful ball by Brock Bradley.
He should have had it. The one thing that I will say is that pass may have been a little short. He had to reach behind him, but he had such separation that he should have hauled that one in. He had to turn a little behind himself to get it as opposed to having it drop into his hands. But Mason McClure will tell you that he should have caught that football.
Wasn't quite the Ryan Williams wide receiver of Alabama drop. That got so much attention last week. Handoff. And Hibbert up for one. But dropped right as he crossed the 35 and up to the 36. 3rd down and 9 for Brock Bradley and the offense. They'll need to get to the 45 and move to sticks.
Well, Pelham has been pretty decent in containing the run after the first drive. Spain Park was able to kind of move it on the ground pretty easily on that opening set, but since then there's been a couple of runs here and there, but not a lot of the explosive plays that can really put a team in the hole. Handling the pass has been a little different.
They do dial up some pressure, and Brock able to operate plenty of time. Seamless throw to Kenarigo as he caught it just past the 50 and out of bounds. It's a 15-yard gain, and the Jags extend the drive, and now working from Panther territory.
That's going to be it's going to be a Atlas Senior Living first down, but you know, Kenarigo comes in, a lot of flash, big name, and obviously Brock Bradley with the big name, but it's taking a little time for those guys to kind of get in sync, and you're starting to see it here, the ball getting there before the receiver does, and that time he finds Rigo over the middle. That pass was a little short the first couple of times, but that time they were able to make a connection for another Atlas Senior Living first down.
Yeah, you're right. As you take a look at the passing catch here, but the first half, something AA was alluding to, both of those plays intended for Kenarigo, like the one you saw just there. Brock Bradley, or the timing, whatever it was, but both passes sailing behind his receiver. It was on point that time. First down as they work from the 33 of Pelham. Hibbert still just steady Eddie. Took his time, didn't panic. And Hudson Hibbert, a hard-earned 5 yards.
Again, the offensive line doing a good job. When it breaks down, Hibbert just kind of lowers the shoulder and tries to pick up those extra yards. That front five has done a pretty good job tonight, run and pass block.
On the 28, Bradley sprints this way. Brock got a man, it's Rigo. Did he catch it in bounds, drag the foot? No. They don't have the benefit of official instant replay. We'll take another look here, but you could tell Rigo knew exactly where he was, and he tried to drag the foot. Not sure if he was able to do so.
There's multiple colors back there. You want to make sure your foot gets in the black. Rigo gets there, and it's in the white. Good call there by the official. Good catch, just not in bounds.
A pretty throw by Brock. Come back this way. That's Barrett Price, and Barrett, after the catch, first time he did that for a 32-yard touchdown. That one goes another 8 yards. And Barrett Price active tonight. The other Spain Park wide receivers.
Good job there by Spain Park on that design. They rolled it to the left and then brought the play back to the right. Good for another Atlas Senior Living first down.
Almost 3 minutes eaten off this initial drive. Mason McClure kept the ball. After the catch, he was upended, suspended in the air. And he held on to the football as he hit the turf.
And Spain Park has not gotten a lot of big plays in running the football, but man, the pass plays have been open all night long. That time, for about the second or third time, Mason McClure comes across the middle to make a catch.
Another Jag first down and goal from the 7. Under 9 minutes. Here in this third quarter, Jags got it to start the third. Try to add on to this 28-7 lead, and I believe they'll do it here. Kenarigo in the round. One receiving touchdown for Rigo. Now one run. He joins Mason McClure, who has done the same tonight. 34-7, 8:47 remaining here in the third.
Right. They put the blockers, it looked like they were setting up for a run to the far side, and then watch everyone come over. Connor Grebb out front. Easy walk in. Andrew Sports Medicine touchdown for Kenarigo.
Reese Jones in the extra point is good. He's perfect tonight. 5 for 5. 35-7. Jags in control. We're back to Hoover after this. End around handoff to Kenarigo. His second touchdown of the night. 35-7. 8:47 remaining here in the third quarter. A beautiful night for football here in the state of Alabama. Arnold on the return, and Arnold tripped up. Nathan Bird, I believe, hustling down and upending Arnold. He's a dangerous return man. Kenarigo blocking, set it up. Zero does the rest.
Right, it was a good job of blocking on the edge there by Connor Grebb, but there was also an interior block there by the tailback Hunter Hibbard, who was able to make sure no one was going to be able to come down the line and get the stop.
Running back has checked in for Pelham. Number 12, Cameron Winfield Jr. He's a junior running back.
Quickly get it out of the hands of the quarterback, Smith, and right into his playmaker, Gibbs, but not much there to pick up.
Winfield, only 10 carries coming into tonight. It's Gibbs and Hunter Rutledge, the two primary backs. And Ross Newton likes to hand it off to. Not much there. Short game. And he'll spot it. One official saying the 30-yard line, the other saying the 31. They'll decide on the 31.
I wonder if they were going to try to put it in the middle and just split the difference.
Now Dylan Smith, hard count. Plenty of time on the play clock. 10 seconds left. Smith going to have to deal with some Spain Park pressure. Heaves it up in the air, almost intercepted again. Better result this time for Spain Park. He's out there doing his best center field. He's number 17, Houston Holmes, the junior defensive back. And the ball falls to the turf. But good news, Pelham forced to punt yet again.
And that time Dylan Smith took a little bit of a shot right there at the end. Now he's in the punt. A little confusion here for Spain Park. Do they have enough people on the field of the right package?
Well, luckily for the Jags, they're able to get Holmes off of the field. And another punt that will not be returned. Boy, it is not a thing of beauty, but golly, it's effective.
Sometimes that's all they ask you to do is get the job done, and that time Smith, who's also the quarterback, gets that punt out there, and at least enough of a space to allow your defense to try to get something done. The third quarter is proudly sponsored by the premier local new home builder, Signature Homes. Build your life with us, and as always, go Jags.
7 minutes, 41 seconds in this third quarter. And Jags trying to replicate what they did to start this second half. A methodical drive by Brock Bradley in the offense, and Kenarigo from 7 yards out. Trying to take whatever life is left in that Pelham sideline out. Hudson Hibbard. His job was shuffling the feet. The gain, maybe not eye-popping, but it's a play that was stacked up, could have gone for a loss, and Hudson got what he could.
A lot of times you hear about running backs and their vision, their ability to see where the lanes are opening, where the holes are, and that time Hibbert saw that there wasn't much going left, so he cut it back right, was able to at least get a couple of yards out of that run.
2nd down and 8 from the 31, option to Hibbert, and he was met right as he turned it up across the 32, down at the 33. So Pelham, another good job of containing the Spain Park running game. And now Jags faced with another 3rd down. On this one, they will need 7. Line to gain is the 39, AA.
It has not been much of a problem tonight. A lot of 3rd down conversions for Spain Park.
There's Barrett Price coming back in, and Barrett Price still on his feet. Hangs on the football and finally trailing the play. And that's a hustle play from the big guy, the edge, Joseph Hampton. He brought down Barrett. But the spacing looked good. It was a crisp pass from Brock Bradley.
That was almost a block in the back there, but a whiff on the block allows Atlas Senior Living first down for Spain Park.
Isaac pulling. And it's Hibbert ahead for a couple. Spotted at the 50-yard line. Jags controlling this football game, but also shortening this football game with a time-consuming drive.
You're up 4 touchdowns. You don't have to be in a hurry to do a whole lot of anything. Methodical. Just keep pounding the rock. Keep that ball in bounds. You know, you'd be happy getting 3, 4, 5 at a time.
Second down and 8 from midfield. Brock. That was a nice pass that is hauled in by Connor Greb, the tight end. Another catch for Connor.
Watch him at the end of this run, or this catch and run. He was getting ready to go out of bounds, and he twists his body back in. Look at him. He says, I got to stay in bounds. Does a good job there, keeps that clock running, and is now going to be 3rd and short.
That play was good for 7. Jags taking their time as we approach the 5-minute mark. Some really big games, not only here in Central Alabama or here over the mountain, but also statewide. One of those, Opelika and Dothan. Dothan leading 14-30 as they play in the 3rd quarter. Out of 7A. Not much there, but just enough, I believe. Now they move the chains.
Line broke down there, but Hibbert knew he only needed to get 1 to get that Atlas Senior Living first down, and he again just lowers his shoulder and picks up that yard for the first.
Another 7A clash of 5-1 teams. Central to Phoenix City leading Auburn 10-0. They are at the half. Hudson Hibbert, nice cutback by Hudson. He's met at the 38, didn't force back. Mark his forward progress there. Nothing too fancy, but it's working.
And again, you know, give Pelham credit. There's not been a lot of big runs in this ball game for Spain Park, but after a while, this is going to wear on the Panthers if it's not already. They're just getting pushed and pushed and pushed some more. If you're out there 5, 6, 7 minutes on a drive, that's going to wear you out.
Chelsea leading Chilton County. So some scores from 6A Region 3 through teams that the Jags have left on their schedule. Hudson Hibbert. Almost to the first down, and they're going to go ahead and move the chains. Cam May on the stop.
Hibbert hadn't seen that kind of room in a while. Just scoots right up in the open space and picks up that Atlas Senior Living first down.
Two teams doing battle tonight. One, the #1 team in the country. Teams from 7A, but Spain Park used to obviously share a region with them. Thompson and Hewitt Trussville, and that one going on in Trussville. 13-10 last check. Thompson leading at the half. Hewitt Trussville ranked #1 for the 2nd time in school history. Hudson Hibbert, 9, maybe 10 yards. That's where they spot it. They should move the sticks for another first down as Hudson is out to the 21.
And I say just short there, but I'm almost sure that Coach Vikakis in this Spain Park offense does not mind. It just means we get to burn some more time off this clock. One pass, everything else has been on the ground.
Bradley Fires. He's got his tight end. That's Landry Coleman. Second time we called Landry's name tonight. Number 11 is inside the 10. First and goal as he's forced out at the 8.
A little fake on that pitch that they've run a couple of times. And another easy pitch and catch. I got a feeling that this will be the last series Brock Bradley is going to play tonight. Provided that, of course, punch this into the end zone.
We're going to see Nash. Don't call me Crash Davis. Handoff. New running back checking in. Ducati Elk. Can't tell from here. It's Mason McClure. Wasn't even close. Kari Werner's 24. Mason, number 2. Equaling his touchdown total tonight.
Yeah, one on the ground, one in the air. He's made some other solid plays for the Jags. And I just tell you, when the ball gets in his hands, generally good things are going to happen for this team.
Hopefully we will see Ducati Elk at some point tonight. Mason McClure. Mason cut it back inside into a congested area, but Mason still found himself picking up 4. Spotted at the 3. Third down and goal. Closing in on 1 minute.
And you talk about methodical, it's not just his drive, just the way McClure waited for the opening to go ahead and kind of try to push it in. Found an opening and got it down to about the 3-yard line. Something tells me Spain Park is just going to run 2 plays. If they get it in, they get it in, and if not, then let Pelham go the length of the field.
Hibbard behind Bradley. Play clock down to 5 as Rigo goes in motion. They're going to hand it off to Hibbard. Boy, he knew where he wanted to go, and nobody was going to stop him. Hudson Hibbard. Touchdown from 3 yards out, and Spain Park looking crisp and firing on all cylinders.
When you got Rigo coming in motion there, we saw in the last series where he came on the end around and scored. This time, it's Hibbard. Comes right up the middle for another Andrews Sports Medicine score. And Spain Park running away with this one.
Some would classify that as a demoralizing drive, and that's 2 we've seen in this third quarter from the Spain Park Jags. What was a 28-7 halftime lead has ballooned. 42-7, you see the score. Spain Park kicking off and leading here in the closing seconds of this third quarter. If we were looking for a statement type of win as the ball hits off of one of the front line guys for Pelham, and then it's recovered by the Panthers as they'll start from their own 39. But looking for a statement win, kind of an identity builder or cementer. I think given opponent, given what we've seen so far through almost 3 quarters, this Spain Park Jaguar team turning in one of their best performances of the season.
All right, there haven't been too many mistakes out there. Certainly haven't been any turnovers. And just going about doing your job, which is, on offense, keep the pile moving, making the big plays on defense, getting stops. And it's happened all night. We haven't seen much of a let-up at all.
We're not going to see any more of the starters, as AA predicted on offense, but that applies on defense. 11 new guys on the Jag defensive side of the ball. Starters still in for Ross Newton and Pelham. So they got a lot of football left after tonight. And with a comfortable 3-0 record, that will, barring a turnaround, that will turn into 3-1, and they still have some tough games left. But it's kind of hard to gauge how far this Pelham team has come. Looking at it tonight, if you have not watched them play, but also, mind you, Spain Park's playing their best football of the season. And a big reason why is senior quarterback Brock Bradley. Has he been absolutely perfect this season? No. But when he's dialed in, He is really tough to beat.
And he's been able to make all the throws. As you can see, the timing throw on the out there to Kenarigo. He's been able to throw some passes up the hash. Right up the middle there, as you can see, as Regal comes across. He had a little trouble with that. Fixed that here in the third quarter. And just otherwise being able to hit his guys in stride. Look at here, Kenarigo comes on the end around as Coach Bakakis and his staff has gone into the bag to show the offensive diversity that this team has.
Well, short of a lot of mistakes in this final fourth quarter, Spain Park tonight, discipline-wise, protecting the football, no turnovers, forcing one, but also the penalties. The 15-yard pass interference penalty, really the only one I can think of on the Spain Park side. You got to be happy with that if you're Tim.
Kind of saved the touchdown possibly on that one too, so that wasn't the worst penalty in the world.
Opening play of this fourth quarter, Pelham with the football, but trailing by a bunch. And Dylan Smith trying to change that. And uncharacteristically, a drop from Jacob Gibbs. Coming in tonight, one of the top receivers in this Panther offense. 4 touchdowns on the season, and he doesn't drop that. I don't think it's a touchdown, but
and we've seen Gibbs make some
play for sure.
We've seen Gibbs make some tougher catches tonight. That was one of the easier ones. I'm sure he'll look at it on film like, man, I should have had that one.
Ethan Boykin in on that Jag defensive line. Evan Taylor, 16, in there as well. Special thanks to the official who got caught up in that fray. And he served as an obstruction at the very least, maybe setting a pick as well.
He recognized that, went to the young man and said, hey, my bad on that. And when the stat sheet comes out, I'm sure he'll have a PBU listed next to his name.
Better for that to happen when the team affected is trailing 42-7.
And probably not the kind of hard feelings that we may have seen in a baseball game yesterday on a strike 3 call.
Ooh. Another punt for Pelham. End over end, and it rolls forever. Finally comes at a stop inside the 5. That's where the Jags offense, Nash Davis, will take over.
Dylan Smith has more punting yards than passing yards, I imagine, this game, and that's not what Pelham had expected coming into this ballgame.
You're right. 196 yards was the average per game coming in for Dylan Smith. Brock Bradley showing off his arm for sure. 32-yard touchdown strike to Mason McClure, the second of that first quarter. Then able to find Kenarigo on the 32-yard touchdown. You're going to see a pattern here. So 32 yards, 32 yards. Original line of scrimmage there, 32 yards. Barrett Price hauls it in at the 12 and then does the rest with his legs.
That'll be the end of Brock Bradley for tonight, but he's got his work in, and as you saw, he can make all the throws. And this team is going to lean heavily on him if they want to win a region championship and make some big noise in the Class 6A playoffs.
Sophomore quarterback Nash Davis, number 13. Here in your screen. He's joined by Caden Comer, senior running back who wears number 10. Wideouts checking in, Clay Bailey, senior number 6. He's at the bottom of the screen. They're at the top. Andrew Mayon, senior wide receiver.
Look at that push right there. That offensive line, even though we've got some new bodies in there, they've dominated all night long. Brock Bradley hardly touched at all. Running game getting what it needed to get all night. And so you've certainly got to give credit to the front 5 for doing its job tonight.
Hey, you might have to help me with the offensive line. as the eyes are waning. I would say late in this game. I would just say later in life.
Amazingly, I think I'm older than you. So
congratulations.
Let's see. I'll call numbers out. You call names. I see a 50, 51, 66.
That was 51 is Brennan Charles. 66.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he's not on my roster.
Okay. I got a 64.
All right. That would be Nick Hendricks, the junior.
All right. And I see a 56.
That would be Aiden Newell.
And then a 50.
Unfortunately, there it is, Miles Bryant, sophomore offensive lineman. And I believe Brennan Charles, if we did not call his name out there as well. These guys, they work hard. They're getting some playing time. I want to make sure we recognize them. 5 yards by Comer on that run. Brings up 3rd down and 3.
I'm correct. Pelham has gotten 1 stop tonight. And even though this is these are the reserves, I'm sure for the Panthers, they want to find a way. They got to get something positive. Because if anything, even though Pelham has won 3 in a row coming into tonight, this was a litmus test for this team as well to kind of see, hey, where are we? And it's been a bit of a rude awakening, but you want to put some good stuff on tape, and there they finally get the stop as the 3rd down pass is a little errant.
Yeah, a little too much. As Milan, intended wide receiver, too much mustard from Nash Davis, showing off the arm. It's a pat on the headgear from head coach Tim Bakakis as he heads off. 4th down and 3. Jags will punt. One of the few times we've seen them do that tonight.
And for Davis, he's next. Ideally, you don't know what the next season brings, but you want to start putting in the work now so that your coach can have confidence in you come next season.
Fair catch called for, taken at 39 by Arnold. That's where Pelham will start this drive with 8:25 left. Solid job by Reese Jones, the senior punter. Well, it's always fun on Sundays at Jefferson's off of Valleydale, 6 to 7 o'clock. It's the Jag Connection. Coach V hang out, listen to Coach Tim Bakakis. I'm sure he'll recap this win, preview the road game coming up next week at Chelsea, another big region contest. Also enjoy some great fellowship and wonderful food. Once again, Spain Park Football Jag Connection, the Coach V Show, every Sunday from Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters from 6 to 7. You can probably go past 7 o'clock. Hang out. Dylan Smith, the completion. One of the few we've seen tonight. Junior Pelham quarterback. That's good for a 1st down.
He's got some good arm action. When he's had an opportunity to throw, he delivers the ball very well. Mechanically, he looks pretty good as well, but just haven't been a lot of opportunities. Mostly because of things like that.
Whoa. How about number 32? There's that number again. Sophomore Israel Anders.
Man, he came right through. Watch Israel Anders come right up the middle, I should say, and it was nearly unblocked. Dylan Smith did not have a chance on that play.
Xander McClure, number 10, in at one of the defensive backs. You take a look at Israel there, Israel Anders. But also working at safety, Anderson Walker, sophomore defensive back. McClure with the tackle. Play picked up 6 yards. Arnold unable to get out of bounds and keep the clock moving. Bring up a 3rd down.
Good job there by Pelham getting a good chunk of those yards back. A lot more manageable 3rd down here for the Panthers.
Ethan Boykin defensive end, it's near side, wearing number 2 for Spain Park. It's a new call from his defensive coordinator. Ball deflected and intercepted. Xander McClure. Well, deflected, put up in the air, and Xander McClure makes the most of his time. I hear you, 10.
Well, you call his name, he comes in, McClure makes a tackle, and on the next play, he gets an A.R. Holmes interception. And you know what's next? When the defensive guys get that interception, that turnover, they're going to go ahead and get a chance to get a turnover dunk. Good job there. Ball tipped at the line.
Who tipped the ball? Could we see who got the initial tip?
He's coming over. He wants to see this ball. It's going to be a oop. He's not that used to it yet. They're trying to get it right.
Ah, you got it. Yep. You got the do-over. Thrown down. And Mason McClure going over to Xander and saying, hey, man.
I think that ball was Ethan Boykin who got the tip at the line, and right away it gets turned over.
Well, it's almost the giving season. The holiday's just around the corner.
Coach V still over there coaching him up.
He is. I think right there he was asking his wide receiver, Clay Bailey, if he was okay. Saw a head nod from Clay. That's good. I'm looking at some fresh personnel coming out for Ross Newton, the Pelham Panthers. At this point, you rest your guys and get ready for that rival matchup at Pelham next week as the Helena Huskies come calling. Timeout on the field. As Pelham wants to talk about it. Not sure if they want to rethink what they had called or they had personnel issues. 6:19 left. Spain Park trying to pick up a win and in control. Pleasant homecoming night here at Spain Park High School. Andrew Roberts, A.A. Moore. 6:19 left in the ball game. Spain Park controlling this one from start to finish. 42-7. And the defense with all substitutions. Making a play there.
Well, when you've got the new guys in, the guys are on the sideline and probably already having discussions as well as other people in the stands about making their way over to Buffalo Wild Wings over on Highway 280. You know, they've got the menu that's got diversity, but more than anything, it's got chicken. And make sure we can go get some of that after the ball game. Buffalo Wild Wings, one of the great sponsors of Spain Park football here in 2025.
That's big Jalen Bates, number 92. Had the play before last. That went for the loss. Behind the chains, 3rd down. And the Panthers face 14 yards. They need to get it out to the 49. It's 3rd down, go to the ground, a safe play. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage. Bring up 4th down and 11. We're under 5 minutes to play. And Ross Newton not hesitating, sending out his punt unit. And I'm sure that Ross would tell you he saw that punting unit way too much tonight. Starting quarterback Dylan Smith. His night is done with the exception of special teams, and he'll have to come out and punt another one. And back deep for the Jags. I believe that's Barrett Price with his heels on the 30-yard line. Got to look out. Low kick. Had a little backspin on it. Rolled to the 29, and then it took a turn and backpedaled to the 30.
Smith has shown with his punting here tonight that he's just got one job, and that's to get it off and try to get it over to the other side of the field best that you can. It's not great form, not a whole lot of yards, and certainly there hasn't been any hang time to him.
I don't know if they've shown it yet this year, but it can be very advantageous to have a quarterback back as your punter, giving teams something to think about. That's what I would be thinking about. Of course, that would be the first game I've ever coached and gotten paid for it.
Fans down here, the students enjoying the homecoming festivities. We've got
apparently somebody not participating in whatever they have going on, and a very cheerful kick him out, and now the thumbs down. I think this is all in fun. If it's not, it's going to be very entertaining to watch. Everybody's smiling. To the ground and checking in, Mac Beverly, junior.
Yeah, it's a good dominant homecoming when fans are having fun. The ones who are left, I think some people have started to make their way to the other festivities. Although the student section is still pretty full. They're still having a good time. Togas.
Ford Tate, number 86, sophomore tight end in the game. And back to the ground. 21. Not on the roster, but I think I heard Kenny Hill.
That young man was happy. Got him a carry, got a first down. Annapolis Senior Living first down, and back to the sideline he goes. Again, these guys, they come out, they practice just like everyone else does, and just very happy to be able to get an opportunity to get out there on the field.
What you love to see is he runs off, and he's greeted by his teammates, starters, that are more excited for him than he probably was about the run. What a great culture. Tim Bakakis and what they built here at Spain Park. Handoff, not much there, but it's all elementary at this point. Joshua Tenney, number 45, the junior running back. Now he checks out. 37, Asher McBride, the sophomore wide receiver, coming in.
That's got to be the part, though, that probably is not near as fun. When you come into the blowout games and you're the receiver, knowing your team's not going to throw the football.
Caden Comer back in at running back, number 10.
You got to give him an end around or something.
Nash Davis. Nash. Nope. Was that Nash? It was not. Now Nash is out. That's Everett Thorson, junior quarterback. It's a revolving door.
His helmet came off, so now someone else is in.
It's number 19. Last name is Kumar. Amav.
Looks about right.
Again, this is a great problem to have.
Learning more about our roster every play.
If I'm butchering your name or your child's name, I apologize. And the knee is taken. That will do it. Successful homecoming night, successful night anyway. You size it up. Spain Park, dominant performance, my opinion, best performance we've seen from the Jags this season. Opened up 14-0. It was a 3rd and goal. Don't want to call it a fluke, but up in the air touchdown for Pelham. But that's really all they can muster all night. You give credit to the defense, but you give credit to the offense. And just overall, very disciplined approach. And the Jags made it look easy.
And look at the Friends hug at midfield. And I know it was it's tough for Pelham to kind of have to take this kind of shellacking. But, again, I think this team will learn and grow from it. and this program will continue to make its move up the ladder in the region. But Spain Park showing why it's one of the top 10 teams in this class and certainly still in the fight for a region title.